Welcome to the Install CABI Server on a Robot video. In this video, I will show you an overview of the tasks you must complete to install CABI Server for the first time. I will discuss some key points you should be aware of to avoid issues with the installation process. You must successfully install CABI Server to use the CA Business Intelligence dashboards. If you need detailed step-by-step instructions for any of the tasks discussed in this video, refer to the Install or Upgrade CA Business Intelligence article in the CA Unified Infrastructure Management documentation. A link is provided in the video description. The examples shown in this video are based on CA Unified Infrastructure Management version 8.5.1 and CABI Probe version 2.0. There are several installation and upgrade paths available for CABI Server. The process you choose depends on the conditions for your particular environment. In this video, I am discussing the process for installing CABI Server. You need to follow the process for installing CABI Server if you do not have a pre-existing installation of the CABI Probe. CABI Server is automatically installed where you deploy the CABI Probe. But there are additional steps you must complete to have a successful deployment and be able to view the CA Business Intelligence dashboards and UMP. The first step is to verify that you meet the minimum requirements for deploying the CABI Probe. To successfully deploy the probe, make sure that you have installed the required version of CA Unified Infrastructure Management for your version of the CABI Probe, and that you have the CABI Probe in the CA Unified Infrastructure Management archive. You also need to make sure that your CABI Server robot meets the minimum requirements for disk space, memory, and CPUs. The CABI Server robot must be a dedicated robot attached to the primary hub. Do not deploy CABI Server on a robot running UMP or on a secondary hub. CABI Server is supported on the same platforms, operating systems, and databases that are supported by Unified Infrastructure Management Server and UMP. In most cases, there is no requirement that the CABI Server robot and UMP robot have the same operating system. The one exception is if you are using Microsoft SQL Server Windows authentication. If this is the case, then the CABI Server robot and UMP robot must have Windows operating systems. I will now discuss the step for deploying the CABI Probe. Deploy the CABI Probe to your CABI Server robot. In Admin Console, you can see that this installs the CABI Probe package and WASP on the CABI Server robot. Be aware that during the CABI Server installation process, WASP will restart. This process can take up to 20 minutes to complete. It is extremely important that you do not try to manually restart WASP before the installation is complete. If you do a manual restart, your installation of CABI Server will not be successful. Once the installation process is complete, you must change the default credentials for CABI Server. A default superuser account exists in CABI Server. You should change the superuser credentials to maintain system security. Now, depending on your environment, you might or might not need to update the Unified Dashboards menu. This step is required if your CA Unified Infrastructure Management environment was upgraded from an earlier version. Because CA Unified Infrastructure Management was upgraded, the LifeWare archive files that generate the Unified Dashboard menu items in UMP are not automatically updated. You can see here that there is no menu option for the CA Business Intelligence dashboards. Once an administrator updates the LifeWare archive files for each user or user group, you will be able to see the new CA Business Intelligence dashboard items. For most users, the installation process is complete. But depending on your environment, there might be some optional tasks. For example, if your CA Unified Infrastructure Management environment uses SSL encryption, you might need to configure CABI Server to use SSL encryption. To see what optional tasks you might need to complete, refer to the Install or Upgrade CA Business Intelligence article in the CA Unified Infrastructure Management documentation. A link to this article is provided in the video description. Make sure you are looking at the correct article for your version of CA Unified Infrastructure Management. For additional information about the CA Business Intelligence dashboards, click the information bubble in the top right corner to load the product page. From there, you can go to Product Documentation, visit the UIM community, or see the learning path.